All right. Stock down. Meltdowns abound everywhere. Fan bases just like completely self-destructing. Let's start with Clemson.
Let's start with them.
So Clemson gets blown out by Georgia. Actually hangs for a half and then gets blown out in this game.
Yes.
We thought that Georgia was probably significantly better than Clemson.
Yeah.
Wanted to see, hey, does this offense look any different, any more, prolific? It didn't. Looks the same. Clemson, again, we're having a conversation about, hey, like, why don't they use the portal? I don't think like a couple portal plays would have changed the outcome of this game, but it's this whole idea that everyone else is using this piece, this valuable piece when they're constructing rosters, when they're addressing needs, when they need to fix something, when they need to boost something. And Dabo doesn't do it. So I think this is part of the larger conversation of, hey, like, has current college football passed Dabo and Clemson by, in the sense of like, yes, you can win 9-10 games, but you're no longer in that upper echelon.
So the portal thing is interesting because I do agree with you on the standpoint of I don't think a couple of portal players gets them a win in this game either. I do think a couple of players out of the portal get some closer, right? And the litmus test here essentially was, how far away are you from being a championship program? And it's pretty damn far at this point based off of that second half. But the other thing is, like, and this is what bothers me about Dabo so much, is they're like, Dabo, why don't you use the portal? And he says, well, I don't think there's one player in there that's better than any of the players that we have. It's just not true. Like, objectively, that is false. And to me, I think it's malpractice if you're not in the least bit interested, because you aren't giving your team the best chance to win football games when you don't try to get the best players. You do it in high school recruiting. Why won't you do it in the portal? That's my biggest question. And so this is what you get. And they're far away from being the program that we used to watch, 5, 6, 7 years ago. And it's unfortunate for Dabo because I think he's starting to wear people out. A part of the university, people like us, like, people are getting worn out.
Yeah. And by the way, like, if you truly think that there's no one in the portal that can help your team, your evaluation and your development is not where it was either. And like, you need to see that on your own roster. You need to see your own deficiencies. Anyway, so there's a lot there, but they are clearly not in that select group of national championship contenders this year. And it hasn't been the last couple of years. But until they address these things, until they fix things, or maybe they never do, I don't think they're in that group. Here's another group that is very far from championship contention: Florida.
Poor Florida.
That was a brutal debut. And then, of course, it's like the in-state loss, and now Miami is good, and people believe in Miami. And you are just in a position where your fan base is Googling what Billy Napier's buyout is.
Oh, that's a worse spot to be in early in the year. And I guess at least they've got Florida State fans to be miserable alongside, and like, just the Miami people are the ones that are having some fun right now. But like, it wasn't the idea that we didn't think that Florida fans would feel like this. It is the fact that they feel like this early, and now Graham Mertz is also a little bit busted up, and it doesn't feel like things are going to line up for them at all.
Yeah, and that is a tidbit of news worth watching in the game against Samford, because DJ Lagway, the freshman quarterback, will make his first career start because Graham Mertz is still in concussion protocol. So we'll see. I mean, I think that's kind of the last ace up your sleeve is, hey, here's this freshman quarterback that everyone wants to see. Let's see if it changes something. But we will continue to monitor the meltdowns in the state of Florida. How about LSU, though? So they lose a very close game to USC. Both of these teams came in needing to prove that they can actually play defense, and that their quarterbacks, who were homegrown, didn't go and get a flashy guy out of the portal. These guys who bided their time, waited for this opportunity. I thought both quarterbacks were actually quite good. But LSU ends up on the wrong side, and Brian Kelly is furious in the postgame. He is like, he's pounding the table. That water bottle is flying all over the place. And it feels like LSU fans are now questioning, hey, is this the guy? Can he not win us a national championship? Previous coaches can win national championships here. is Brian Kelly doing anything to show that he can do that at LSU?
Man, first off, the pounding the table thing felt very scripted, very intentional, if you will. So BK, maybe let's make that look like it just happened in the moment the next time. The interesting thing is LSU ain't out of anything right now. Like, I get it's frustrating, and it's really the trend of starting off the year like this under BK, because they've done it the past couple years as well. They're not out of anything, and he's gotten a couple big victories. Like, I think people should be disappointed. Take a deep breath as well, right? Like, Brian Kelly is in that tough spot, a little bit like James Franklin. Good coaches, like, they win games, but at some point people get pissed off by just being good. Like, they want to be great. And he's in this, like, has never really been great. He had the national championship appearance at Notre Dame. But like, that's what he's dealing with. And I think that is a really hard narrative to start to beat, is you can't win the big one, you can't get us a championship type deal. I just think people need to take a deep breath right now after week 1 if you're an LSU fan.
Yeah, but I do think it's because they've done it the last 3 years.
Oh, for sure. The trend is off.
Ogeron, right? It's like I think 5 straight openers. They've started 0-1. So yeah, it's an interesting time to be there, because you're absolutely right. You're in a conference. You're going to have so many opportunities to win big games. So to be hitting the panic button a little bit, interesting choice by Brian Kelly.